So till the last session, this is where we had, stopped. Am I audible? No.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So we have this, right? Till here we had done. Yeah. So now we have to talk about the framework. Okay. So yeah, there is something called as cucumber. I think this is the only change that you guys need to make. The scripts is empty, I think, in both of your case. Just add this line between that script object. Uh,
Can you paste it?
I'll just give it. Hmm. So now let me talk about the framework, okay? See, if a person is like 3 years, 5 years experienced, majority of the people will just ask about the tool. Like for example, Playwright, right? They'll ask about, write this JavaScript program, okay, whatever, very basic program or a mid-level program and all those things, and little things about the framework here and there, and they're good. But the more senior you become, it is definitely not okay just to know just the tool or just, the basics of the programming and all those things. You have to know the framework. You should be in a position to develop the robust, scalable automation framework, right? Either enhance or from scratch, depending on the project that you join. So, what are all the features that we have in this framework? Which, as much as possible, we are going to try and make it robust. Correct. So, let me just write it here. Hmm. See. So, if I ask you, like one of you, can you give me some idea, like what it all has to go as part of framework? Somebody can speak.
First, the ID we need to select, and then
That we already have. We have VS Code, correct? In order to make my framework scalable,
Usually
robust.
in BDD, we'll be
Okay.
having drivers, but here we don't have that.
See, BDD is like a wrapper, right? Using Gherkin language. Yeah, fine.
Mm,
BDD is fine. My question was, what are the components of a framework? Okay, see, while designing the manual test cases also, we have our test cases. For the test cases, we have something called as prerequisites, correct? And we have something called as test results. And we're going to say what kind of suite is it? Is it like a sanity test case or a regression test case, functional, non-functional, smoke, user acceptance testing, all those things. And we also have something called as test data, correct? And of course, you have test design techniques. Like, is it like boundary value analysis that you're going to follow, or is it like equivalence partitioning, error guessing, state transition, all those things. So the same concept has to be applied in the automation as well. I have something called as, let's talk about BDD. In BDD, there is something called as features, which is a feature file. Okay. And there is step definitions. There is pages. I'll talk about these in detail. Okay. And there is test data folder where we have test data in the form of JSON, and we have reports, which is nothing but the test result. We have loggers. Since we are using BDD here, we have cucumber.js or JSON, depending on the person, both are fine. We have TS config. What is TS config? It can be .ts or JSON also. Let it be JSON. So basically, I told you browser can understand only JavaScript. Browser cannot understand TypeScript. So TS config, we have to set up some parameters to make sure, uh, my browser and my test script, it is getting internally converted from JavaScript and type to TypeScript and vice versa. That is what this is all about. And we have something called as .env. Mhm. Yeah. And we have hooks. We have world. Okay, these are the high level things. So, what is a feature? If I talk about this, let me talk about the flow. Okay. So I told, yeah, of course, package.json, we already have all those things, right? Package.json. Now, the thing is, how do I run my test cases? I'll go here. I told you, let me put it somewhere. See here, I have something called as test here inside the scripts, correct? I have to run my test cases like npm run test. The moment I give it in my command line, it will go to my package.json. In my package.json, it will find, is there something called test? Yes, it is there. Then it will go to cucumber.js. Okay, in this framework, I've still not developed that, but in the already developed framework, I already have. So let me show you that. So it will go to cucumber.js, means it will go to cucumber.json. See here, I have the paths. Okay, this is a JSON, JavaScript object notation, where everything has to be inside this flower brackets. And I have something called as default paths. I'm mentioning where are my feature files. And don't worry on all these things as of now. I'm telling where are my step definition files and where is my TS node config. And these are the format. These are the reports that I want in the basic HTML format and something in the form of JSON, something in the form of XML. We can have this for now. Okay. So now from my command line, it went to package.json, then it went to cucumber.json. From here, it will go to the feature file, right? So what is a feature file? Feature file is something when you write your Gherkin syntax, like given, when, then. Given is something that is prerequisite for a test case in manual testing. When is something where you take action, like click here, write, type something, or navigate to that page, or read something from the UI, right? That is basically all those actions goes as part of when. And if at all there are many actions, you are going to put many and. Instead of writing when, just write when months and you put, which means and. This will follow the previous thing. If I write and after given, that means there are multiple prerequisites. Okay. Then is like an assertion. Like for example, upon logging in, I should see logout button or logout whatever, right? So that's an assertion. All the assertions or the expect, that's called as expect in Playwright, should go as part of then. Okay, this is how Gherkin syntax works. And I have something called as tags. Okay, like let's say out of 100 test cases that I have, my major critical functionalities of the application are like 20. Okay, so if the sanity is passing, then it's good. And I can write something like, how do I know what are sanity test cases? How am I going to segregate in the framework? Like at the rate sanity. So to whichever scenario I'm going to give at the rate sanity, I'm telling it is only sanity test cases. And then from the command line or from a CI/CD, I can execute only sanity suite. Okay. Now, what is the scenario? Scenario is similar to a test case. Let's say a feature is having 10 test cases. So this is a feature. Feature is a test suite. Okay. Under that, I have 10 test cases where each test case is called as scenario here. Okay. Now, what is background? Background is something where, how do I say? All the test cases have common thing. Like for example, in an e-commerce website, okay, I login is common, correct? Add to cart is common. Of course, let's say all these out of these 10 test cases, logging in and add to cart. This has to be repeated for all the test cases. So instead of repeating these lines multiple times, I can just put it in background where I'm telling it to Cucumber. See, execute this before each test case belonging to this feature file. Okay? So now it's clean. Instead of writing it, background will repeat every time for each test case. After scenario 1 execution, it will go again to background, execute this and go to scenario 2. After scenario 2 completes, again it will go to background, it will execute scenario 3. Okay? Any questions till now?
No.
Okay. So now once it is,
1 second. So background is like given user, first it will execute that given user statement, then it will execute that when user enters username, password, and clicks the login button, and then the scenario test case one executes, and then log out
yes.
this one, right? Correct. Okay. And again, next will be second scenario with the background first.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So now from the feature file, here there is no proper setup. So basically when I control click on this, it has to take me to the step definition. Okay. See here, I have my step definition. If you, what is this feature line? Given user navigates to Salesforce SIT page. If you see, come to step definition, see here, given is given, user navigates to, okay, not this. Yes, I think I've put it here. Yeah. User navigates to Salesforce SIT page. So basically, whatever the English statement that you have given in your feature file, it has to be exactly matching this. Let's say there is a space, one extra space, then also it will not match. Make sure it is exact. Okay. Given user navigates. So what is it? I have it here. Okay. So these, I told, these are the things of the framework. Now there is something called as delete. I just want text. Okay, there is something called as method, correct? Method definition, method call. Okay. You are aware of all these things, right? So what is a method call? For example, there is a method. There is a login method. There is a login method. I'm just calling the method here. If you see with this braces, right? I'm just calling the method. Similarly, I have my this login. A is my sync. Okay, login. And I have something like this. Code will go here. And I'm closing the bracket. This is method definition. Okay. So whenever you want to execute some code, we have to call the method. And inside the method, I will tell what task it has to perform. So where the method call goes, method calls always goes as part of step definitions. Okay. And where the method definitions, what exactly this method has to do. For example, in my case, I have to give the username, password, and click on submit button. That is what my, login, this is. Login method has to do. So all the method definitions will go as part of pages. Got it? So let's say in my framework, you take a screenshot of this just in case you want. Otherwise, parವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, it's okay. This is login.
ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
Okay, just take a screenshot, for later. Anyway, you will be having the recording, but still. Okay, otherwise, wait, let me only give it. Okay, now, let me just delete this. Yeah, I'll delete the entire thing. Yeah. So now you got to know where is the method call and everything. Correct. Now what happens after that? Once my method gets executed, see, if you go to pages, see, I'm telling, go to accounts page. Means there is a link called as account. I am trying to click on it. Once that gets executed, now the control, now that is at end of execution, then there is something called as reports folder that will get executed, created by default. Say test results, or it can be reports, the .json format. What is the status of the test case passed, or if it has failed by, where exactly it has failed. Okay. So this is not like a fully fledged framework, just like a basic I had created, okay? The fully fledged almost is in GitHub repository. Maybe I can just open that and show it to you. Wait. Yeah, it's already somewhere here. Yeah. It is Gen AI. Yeah. Check it up. You guys have that link there. I had shared, I think, in the group.
Just check once.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So that's okay. Basically, you understand, you're able to understand, right? What is
Yeah.